welcome to Fab Friday with Spiegel Mom Scraps. I hope that you have lots of fun, crafty plans this weekend. I am going to do a layout, and for this layout, I created my own embellishments and my own sequin mix for this layout. So these are the papers I'm using. A couple days before I did this layout, I had just received my brand new click kit and I loved it. So these sequins, I think there are 4 different sequins from 4 different Spiegel Mom Scraps sequin mixes. And I mixed them up because I wanted to play with color. So this is going to be my background. This layout is just really just blue. I love blue, and I loved all of these papers from Indigo Hills, from Pink First Studio, and I wanted to use all 3 of them. So since my papers are going to be very busy, the rest of my layout and my embellishments are going to be pretty minimal and not, for example, there's all those paint splatters on my background paper, so I didn't use any mixed media or Shimmers products on this layout because I already had that really beautiful background paper with all of the splatters. So I'm starting by matting my photograph. I matted it. It's about a 1/4 inch wider than my picture. So my picture's 3 by 5, so it's got probably about a 1/4 inch mat around it. And then lengthwise, it's 11 and 3/4 inches long. And my reason for doing this is because I wanted to create a band across my page that housed my photo and my journaling. So this picture is of my son and my mother-in-law, and I am actually not going to do the journaling on this. I leave a nice big open space, but right there on the side of my photo, but I'm going to have my son or maybe my husband type the journaling up, and one of them is going to journal on this page. So I showed you there those little homemade embellishments that I designed. I designed them off camera because I wanted to kind of play with the design and decide how I wanted them to be. So I created 2, and now I'm going to create 1 on camera for you. So what I was going for was something that looked very vintagey. I wanted something that kind of evoked that feeling of, your grandmother, something like that. And I thought the flowers in Indigo Hills, those florals, were also kind of vintagey and worked well, but then I also thought that the splatters of the background paper kind of gave you that little like boyish teenager kind of grungy look too, and kind of mixed them up. So what I did was I took the circle, I put vintage photo distress ink around the edges, and then I chose to fold my circles and add more vintage photo distress ink on the creases. I just liked it that way, but you of course could not do that if you didn't like. I liked that look. I thought it gave it kind of a neat look. I really didn't like it. And then I created sort of like an abstract flower. So the middle part of the flower is 2 sequins. One is a larger sequin, one is a smaller sequin, and they are stacked on top of each other. And then at 4 places around the middle sequin, I just put 4 sequins of the same color. You could play with these colors. You could make them any color you wanted. You could take any combination of sequins and create these little embellishments. They were very kind of easy to make, and you could certainly customize them. I also took one of these lovely lace leaves from my click kit, and I put that there. I love it. Oh my goodness. I want to hoard them. They're beautiful. They're really lacy. I have 2, so I have 1 more for another layout. And I took those little embellishments I had created, and I made them a diagonal line across the middle of my page. And now I'm going to work a little bit on my titling. So I'm going to kind of snuggle my title in together across the top and the bottom, and I used a little heart in place of the word love. And now I'm taking some of these flower die cuts and I'm going to layer them up over my leaf here. And now I'm going to have a little bit of a hard time embellishing. So I want to add some things and sprinkle some things around the embellishments in that I had created that create that diagonal swash across my page. But because of that busy pattern paper, I need solid embellishments. And I'm going to kind of play around trying to decide which embellishments will work. I auditioned quite a few, but a lot of them tend to just want to blend right in with that background paper. And the other thing that I really want to do is I'm also thinking about color. So I have lots of blue, but in those embellishments I also wanted to pull in some of the aqua and some of the yellow from the kit and from that Indigo Hills line. So I'm going to really audition and play around, and I'm looking for solid shapes not in blue. And I'm going to use a lot of enamel dots because that just was what was working the best for me. There were in that Posh, they're from the Dimple Stories Posh collection. And they had that perfect shade of mint green and the perfect shade of yellow to match the sequin embellishments I had made. And then I'm going to find some solid yellow puffy stickers. And these aren't exact, but when you put them all together, they match well and they worked well with the little peeps of yellow that are in my little sequin embellishments. So, but you'll see me kind of pick a lot of stuff up and put it down and put it away because I would lay an embellishment down and it would just blend right into that background paper because of the design. So it did take me embellishing. You're going to see me fidget a lot. I used some puffy stickers, some die cuts, a lot of different things, and I moved stuff around, and I did cut quite a bit out of it, but it is still there. I think sometimes doing a layout like this with a really busy background paper is it can be hard because you do need embellishments that are solid so that they contrast and stand out from your pattern paper and you can still see them. I do believe that those sequined embellishments I created are a wonderful idea for layouts where you have very busy pattern paper because they are solid, they're a little bit large, they give a pop of color, but you can see them. You definitely don't have any problems finding or seeing those embellishments on the layout. So here I am, more enamel dots. What I did do that I really liked was I took some of the navy ones and I placed them right over some of the splatters so that you had this mixture of like the splattery, inky embellishments or the splatters on the paper, but then you had these solid circles. And I really believe that's why I kept kind of gravitating towards putting more of those enamel dots around my page because they really provided something different. You know, your eye could really kind of travel through them, and they provided contrast with the background paper versus the enamel dots, both in texture and size and saturation. And so I'm just showing you here this area and how I'm going to leave it alone. And I think that the layout looks really, really good without the journaling, but I think when I add the journaling later on, it will look great too. I hope you have a wonderful Fab Friday, and I would love to see your take on some homemade embellishments. Bye!